So I was just getting ready to go over and loosen this up, and boy, that don't look good. That is cross-threaded as cross-threaded can be. So we might have to find another one of those bottom fittings. I don't know if I got one or not. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go clean this up, clean the oil out of it. We'll see what kind of a mess we got here. Well, as you can see, that was cross-threaded badly. So we're gonna, and it's also bent quite heavily. We're gonna relegate this one to the scrap pile. And I actually swept up a little bit here this morning before I started doing anything. Yeah, I put a new one in there. It's all set and it went on with my fingers, so I know it's not frigged up. Got it sitting there waiting for the cylinders. Got the old bearing half here. I'm going to show you something about that in a second. So 184.7R, B184.7R is our number. So, you know, it's kind of interesting always to just check this stuff. Back when I used to rebuild engines for a living, every now and then the boss would get a new bearing book in. This is a Federal Mogul one, 1984. That was the last year I was working for him. When he got the new stuff in, he'd throw the old out. I actually got them from back in the 70s, which is pretty cool because that carries back stuff that was obsolete at this time. So anyway, yeah, right here it says 5.5 inch stroke, and there's our casting number, or forging number, whatever you want to call it. And the interesting thing I wanted to show you was this right here. 74.5 is your maximum wall thickness for a standard bearing. And if we take this old bearing, no, it's been run, of course, but it's 74 thousandths. Depends how you wiggle it, but 74 basically. And we want 5 thousandths thicker on these bearings here. We'll see what we get here. And there's our 70, whoops, well, you got to hold it just right, but there's your 79, 78.5, 79. So we're right there. You got to be careful you don't scratch your bearings when you do that. But what that does is that confirms that they're marked correctly. You know, a lot of guys put them in and plastic gauge them and stuff. I'm not going to plastic gauge these. They measure right. I know what I ground the crank. I'm going to have clearance. And I'll show you when I put it together how you determine if you've got clearance enough. I mean, it's as simple as does it slide back and forth on the journal without binding at all. And it should all the way around as you rotate it. You know, you can tell these things are made so that you can run up to, like, I don't know, I think the book said 2 to 3 thousandths clearance, which, I mean, you can throw a cat through that almost. So, you know, I'm just going to put it together. I'm not going to do all that plastic gauge crap. I know she was running loose before. It must have had at least 5 thousandths, maybe 6 thousandths clearance with all the wear on the crank. So, you know, now we're back to standard 10 under with new bearings. We should have 1.5 to 2 thousandths, whatever. Yeah, anyway, these books, if you ever see one in a yard sale or something, and you can pick one up, they are just a mountain of information, especially the old ones. The old ones, you know, tells you that your rods go to 63, heads go to 104. I mean, you can almost rebuild your whole engine just with what's in this book. And, you know, there's all kinds of information back here. Stuff that gets, you know, crankshaft forging numbers. So if you have a crankshaft, you do not have a clue what it fits, you can go back here, find it, cast in a forging number, connecting rod dimensions, connecting rod numbers are in here somewheres, camshaft stuff. There's a lot of information in this one little book. Of course, you know, it only goes to 84, so newer stuff, you know, you're on your own. But yeah, so I thought I'd show that to you. Had some neat stuff come in yesterday. Yesterday I was helping Carol do some stuff in the garden, and I don't know, it was just one of them days. It wasn't very productive, but got a ring set, pistons, wrist pin. I haven't actually opened one up yet. See if it'll go down the hole. I guess we could probably do that. Shake that bag off of it. Let's see here how far off we are. Oh, ain't that sweet. That's a nice fit. Yeah. It's always a good thing when they go down the hole. So anyway, we got the pistons, rings, wrist pins. I got wrist pin bushings, gasket set. I'm going to change it over to a gasoline manifold because my other one is very thin. And we're up in the compression. Those are like 6 point something to 1 instead of 4 point something to 1. So you're not going to be able to run all fuel with it anyway, unless it was a fairly high grade of kerosene, like jet fuel or something. If you put like regular diesel in it, which if I'm going to run something, I'm going to run furnace oil in them. So if I can't run furnace oil, I'm going to run gas. So yeah, I'm not going to put the high heat all fuel manifold back on. But we got a steering wheel. That's a crank seal, just a simple rig. There's a new filler on the, got a carburetor kit, which I'm kind of disappointed that don't come with a gasket. That I don't understand that. You'd think they'd at least have the gasket in it. Kind of dumb. But anyway, it is what it is. The gasket set that I ordered, the lady says, oh, we're out of those, they're back ordered. Didn't know when they were going to be getting them in. So I says, well, give me the next one down, which she did, but it didn't come with gaskets. And I didn't realize that because I was on the phone. But anyway, I can't bitch because I didn't pay attention. All my mag stuff, condenser and whatnot, and a new magneto cap. So, I've got everything to put this tractor together except for the stuff to do that pedestal with. And I'm going to do that last after I get the engine all done. And of course I still haven't got any gear in for that rear end. I may just put it back together and just leave it a 4-speed. You know, it is what it is. It's been a 4-speed all these years and I don't leave the farm really with it very often. So yeah, I'll bring you back here when I get ready to put something together. Well everybody, I put the crank in when I had a friend show up and I didn't really think to do any friggin' recording. But anyway, I wanted to show you right where that white mark is, which it seems kind of odd. But right there by my fingernail, there is a little tiny mark, and the gear was so hard that it actually didn't make an indent, it just made a shiny spot where they punched it. And that lines up with the cam gear. So, anyway, yeah, we was quite a while finding that actual mark. We actually put the crank in and out twice, and it just, you know, you can wiggle it through from either side, but you got to go real careful. And as you can see, I took the old bearing halves and I black taped them onto the crank, both journals, and that way, when I was putting stuff in, I didn't have to worry about them two journals hitting something. And a friend of mine was here, you know, so that I could put this bearing on and get it started with a couple of bolts while he held the other end up. Otherwise, you got to support stuff with blocks, and it's quite a job to put these cranks in. Not difficult, but it's just, they're heavy and awkward. So I got to tighten up this. I got to go wash this one oil line that goes on this side. And I'll bring you back in a little bit and show you that oil line going in. You got to make real sure that you don't cross thread anything. There, that's all in. All we got to do now is tighten it. So I will do that off camera because that's a pain. But anyway, you get the idea. Not much to it. And as soon as I get that one tightened, I got another one goes on this side. Same thing. And we'll continue on our journey. Yeah, we'll see how this line here goes on. Because they can be a booger sometimes. Good, I think that started. It did. Now, get our light down in the bottom. Well, it's hard to film this stuff. The John Deere stuff is kind of a lot of it's just done by feel. Yeah, started. I'll put that ahead. Now I will leave these old bearings on this journal until I actually get ready to pull the connecting rods onto it. That way you've got no chance of stuff getting hit. Alright. So, tighten up this little guy. Yeah, I was going to film how to put that crankshaft, how to wiggle it in and out. And like I say, I had friends show up and it was like, wow, I got help. So I just took advantage of it. And yeah, now that that's all tight, you want to make darn sure that nothing is rubbing. That side is good. That side has plenty. Look up here to the front. Looks all good. This one right here runs fairly close, but I can stick my finger in between it. This one here. So yeah. So everything's pretty well tightened up on all the oil lines. Yeah. So I'm gonna call that a day. I'm gonna go and tighten these. I gotta find my other bolt. I'm missing one bolt. And it probably, yeah, it's right there. Guess I gotta go wash that one. I'll bring you back in a little bit. I'm gonna tighten these up. I'm gonna safety wire them and I'll show you how that's all looking when I get done. So according to the book, they tell you to plastic gauge this. You know, they want like 4 thousandths clearance. That's the sweet spot. 2 is minimum, 6 is maximum. The other side, I can get a 4 thousandths feeler gauge in. I can't get a 5 in. This one here, I can get a 2 in. I can't get a 3. So I'm not going to take out any shims. I mean, they're within spec and they're good. So yeah, so this crankshaft, other than setting a thrust later, which I'm not going to do till I get this mess here put together. I'm not going to put the flywheel on because that's how you set your side thrust. But yeah, we've got the timing on the cam done. Crank is in, all oil lines are hooked up. And as soon as I get the jug put on, I will probably hook up this oil line and I will put the oil to that base. And while it's very easy to turn, I will pump up the oil until I get oil in these journals. And then that way you don't have to deal with anything when you start it. You just go ahead and start it and it'll all be good. So anyway, yeah, that's all there is to it. Yeah. So anyway, Hope you enjoyed. Sorry I didn't get the video of me actually putting the crank through. Like I say, it's kind of a pain. You got to wiggle it through. Best advice I can give you is take your old bearings and put them on the rod journals. That'll protect a couple of your bearings. The rest of them you just watch out for. And yeah, put all your stuff back together and tighten it up. I haven't safety wired yet. I'm going to do that in the morning. Yeah, I'm just going to put the same stainless steel safety wire on that I had there. It's what I've got. It's just it's good enough for airplanes. It ought to be good enough for John Deere. And yeah, probably tomorrow. I was actually washing this thing over in the parts washer, but it's funny, I never turned it on that edge. So I got to scrape up some of this black goop here. I got to get that off. I missed that when I was cleaning. But it's gummy, so it'll scrape up, and what I don't get, it'll be fine. You know, it's a lot better than it was. This is the only area that I missed was on this top right here. Yeah. So anyway, not a lot of it there, just a little bit. Yeah, that's all of it. But we'll get it off. And yeah. Yeah, got her all off. Guess I better wipe that on a rag instead of my pants, because you know how we all do with our pants. Mother don't approve of that, you know. She tells me it all the time. But anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed. And tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I can work in here all day. Electrician won't be here, so I should be able to get the jug on tomorrow and hopefully get the pistons and rods in. And if I get that far, things will be going along pretty fast. So, yeah, I did get a bearing splitter too to pull that gear on the governor. I haven't tried it yet, but yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Appreciate it.